What's up, guys? The Keyblade Soul Lord here, and welcome to my very first stream after a very long time with Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. And this time, I'm not alone.
Mwah. Hello, my darlings. I bet you missed me so much.
I don't know if they in terms of talking here. Let me just here.
My friends are my power.
Oh, it's Angela Redrain. Thanks for joining. All right, we are off to a good start, and already someone's joining us. That's a really good start then. All right, so today, as you can see, we're about to play Ace Attorney, Apollo Justice, to be exact. This is the first time I'm doing this on an emulator. And since there are no official release yet, this is going to be our first time here on my computer now. You'll be able to see the cursor. Anyway, before we start, so do you recall all the Ace Attorney adventures we had before?
Yes, I remember those days. It was all sorts of fun. Even though I think I fell asleep a few times myself, though.
Well, some of the streams were long. Let's hope we don't have to suffer that again. Especially
forced bad endings required, regardless.
True that. Anyway, so let's make it official and start a new game with Apollo Justice with a brand new main character, which I will say this for those who don't know, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney is a bit of an undergem, to be exact. Basically, many people turned away from this game because the main character is not Phoenix Wright, and they think that it's made to be a spin-off or anything, but people have been missing out on what this was, and they really should give it a shot, especially when there's so many likable characters and interesting cases in this game. So,
well, with the resurgence of the Ace Attorney's collections and even the spin-off apparently doing decently, who knows? Apollo Justice may actually get its little time with an HD remaster. Who knows?
We'll see about that. I just hope they do get a HD remaster with this game as well as Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. But for now, I hope
you just want to fall for Athena, don't you?
I wish. Oh, we got a commentary. Wow, thanks, Kilo. It has been a while. Anyway, so let's get this started with a brand new game. I hope it's not too low. Can you hear the sound? I'm pretty sure it will be.
A little bit.
Okay.
Also, Kilo, never say never, darling.
That is true. And yeah, I've been busy. If you look at my background, I have a ton of posters from all the Comic-Con adventures I had. Yeah, there's Komi-san, there's 2B, there's 2 Genshin Impact posters. I have a slime there with a Mickey Mouse beanie with Christmas lights.
I just see it now. It's lit up.
Yep, it's totally lit up. Anyway, let's get started. First case, first episode, Turnabout Trump. And no, we're not talking about a certain someone.
Him.
Just a thing that'll help. Yep.
There's nothing like painting canvas and everything else. It warms my heart.
Especially if it's moving with showdown time.
Apparently we're
playing poker.
Apparently we're playing. Wonder which one.
You lose. Wait, what? Someone's a sore loser.
Or a sore winner. It could be either or.
A phone.
Okay. It's either delay, but we're back in color.
Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Okay then. April 20th, 9:37. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. It's been a while since we did something like that. Let's do this.
Ah, yes.
Panicked, palms sweaty. I can admit it. I'm nervous.
I can see the delay, but hey, it's not too. It shouldn't be that bad.
Alright? Good morning. Relax. Just pretend you're playing this blind.
I could try to give him an interesting voice. He seems. Sadly, we can't really do the whole thing, but if it was me doing his voice, well, I'd give him a very accent like this. I think it would be very fitting for his character, don't you think?
Looks like I'll have to be the one to doing that. Alright. Good morning, sir.
I can't help. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight.
Wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine.
That screeching noise, is that your voice? I suppose it's supposed to be expected. Your first trial ends a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh?
I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Cords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Cords of Steel.
Did he just scream in his car like before he gets in there?
I guess.
That explains it.
I think
I did detect a certain rasping quality to your screech.
I think it's better if I do the voicing thing, but alright.
I mean, this works too.
It kind of
ain't time sensitive.
I overdid it again.
As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift.
Drift gun, sir. I'm all over that drift.
As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through.
Yes, I'm fine, sir.
One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way.
Gulp.
I'll be pairing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client.
Okay, we can somehow make this work. Alright. My name is Apollo Justice.
And I like it.
If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course. And so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Oh boy. You're gonna be surprised when you see this.
What is Phoenix's design here? He looks like a hobo!
Right? Whoa. Good morning.
Huh? Morning. It's all up to you today.
First trial, nervous. Meeting him, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? Actually, let me be him, because to make sure we save up time, I'll let you be some of the characters.
Oh, sounds fun to me. Besides, we can hear your voice.
Okay.
Because if we want to really start up something fun, who wants to put him in part of the new elements of justice? You're up, Soul Lord.
So you're... Fine! I'm fine! Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney. And he's your friend, so why? You'll see. Huh? You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. It's time. Shall we? Yes, sir! To think Apollo would get so nervous on someone like him. But yeah, that's totally Phoenix.
This is somebody who... Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, Phoenix is like... Seriously, I swear that guy might as well be the MVP in this area.
Right? Okay, I need to focus. First trial. Here comes justice! Alright, time for the trial to begin. For the mystery man, which we obviously know it's... Oh god. Get ready. The court is now in session.
My voice is not ready for this.
I'll handle him. But what the what is up with that hair? What did you do to yourself, Gaspin? No, not Gaspin.
What is that
it's
hair?
Winston.
What is this design? What?
It's Winston, not Gaspin. I'm what the? Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. The prosecution is...
You have to have the worst hair imaginable!
I'm sorry. Okay. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
I will say this! I will never make fun of your hair again!
The defense is... fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late. Your name was... Mr. Justice? And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. He just
Well,
coughed.
he is voicing about 3 characters in this.
Mr. Gavin. That's your cue.
Yes, Your Honor.
I was under the impression that you would be heading up to this case.
That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always concede his client's wishes. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice.
Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust his case to this greenhorn, why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience, fine. But does he have cords of steel? I don't think that's something to be proud of, Apollo.
I mean, if you're part of a hair metal band, maybe.
Right. Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. Oh boy. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. You were saying?
I was gonna say, what a curious point of events. Question mark.
Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright? How could this have happened?
A piano player?
I won't speak
is he even good?
Maybe. I won't speak of it further, then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne. To think I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains. Ah, Winston Payne. Subtle as ever, I see. Well, at least you recognized him this time. Ahem. The crime occurred on the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him Wham! On the head! Smacked! Killed him cold. You don't need to say that much detail. A customer at a restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was? The pianist for the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright. A pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life. This is the weapon that took the victim's life. A bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. Deadly bottle as in physically, or... well, it doesn't have any alcohol, so it shouldn't be that deadly.
Well, it is still a glass bottle. Whack! Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently.
The court record.
The court...
Right. I have that. Speaking of which, let's take a look. We have the attorney's badge. Smith's autopsy report. The time of death was around 2 a.m. April 17th. Death caused by a single blow to the forehead. And we already have the crime photo. Yeah, that poor guy got hit on the head.
Let's check.
The sub-basement at the Borscht Bowl Club. And there's a bottle. We also have the profiles. You see Christoph Gavin.
Alright.
Phoenix Wright.
32.
Apparently so.
33 for Phoenix.
Okay, so the mysterious victim is called Shady Smith, a traveler only recently back in country. And now we don't need to know. He's 61. We don't need to know much about Westlake Payne. Anyway. That's your...
So I guess this guy is... I guess we are dealing with the real Slim Shady. Okay. I'm confident in your ability to handle this.
Right. The court record button. Sounds like the time for some hands-on action. So the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shady Smith fellow? We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor. A traveler? According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this court recently, though his place of residence is unclear. And he had some sort of connection with the defendant? That too is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime. If they only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing? That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. Even though if he had any. At least not piano playing. At least I'll let this photo explain what I mean. Yep, we just saw the photo. As we could see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime. Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself.
I mean, in some countries it can be legal, and if you get certain rights and everything else, you can run it.
Okay. Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal. Whoa, Christoph just made an objection there.
Objection! Is it true that it is true the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim? Yet it was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits. A silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome.
Come again? The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present. And impress women. That will be our first order of business here, then. To find out more about this fatal game of cards.
And to impress women?
I don't know. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it, my first trial. Here goes nothing. Alright, witness testimony from the defendant itself. Oh, you're gonna like this music. I am a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interesting customers over there at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is. A game. And our customers are happy. Interesting.
Okay, alright. Alright, keep it that note. 2 decks of cards.
A pianist who can't play piano. Better than a defense attorney who can't defend. Really, Payne? Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it. It's gonna be a
Are
while.
you alright? You're sweating bullets.
Bullets? Where?
It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds very strained and raspy, too.
My brain feels strained and raspy, sir.
You watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher?
No, I don't need to. But if we recall, we press for more information on the statements, and we present evidence related to the statement in order to object them, right? I don't think we need a refresher for that.
Sounds right.
All right, no thanks. No need for help here, sir. I think I got this one covered.
I think you'd better do more than think. You know it, or you don't, or you do not.
I'm fine. The courts of steel are ready for battle. My weapons. Press and present.
Find any inconsistencies and any lies in the testimony, and they reveal them to the court.
Alright.
And that is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Get it, got it, that's it.
Inconsistencies, lies, Phoenix Wright. As if! Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. Apollo. Well, he doesn't lie, but he can bluff. The
Big time.
And the defense may begin the cross-examination. Here we go. Let's see, the pianist by trade. I can hardly play at all. I don't think this is important to press. This, I think I should press this. They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I am a professional after all. Bah! Do I take pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine. Yes.
Honest?
Your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston. What? I played poker for 7 years in that little room, and I've never lost once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I've said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? Interesting. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. I need to press this. The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction? It has quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bull Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market? In all the past, things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there, in that room. A smoky room? Gambling hoods? You know, just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals, safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through the small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it'd be a good good for keeping a lookout, but a little else. That's true. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was a common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in with history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clear fun. Okay. The rules are simple. Okay, we need to press this. The 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor. That is true. That's you.
Oh, sorry. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor. You know, delays.
That's true.
Each one of them forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really.
Incidentally, we used 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other blue. Interesting. As I recall, in poker you make 5 card hands. I could see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, a game of hands. Okay. I think we pressed all the information we can get. This competition you're talking about. I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right. It was a simple game after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment the crime occurred. Yet you claim no connection to the crime? Now that's strange. What's strange? Okay, what is going on? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. Ah! I completely let that one slip by.
Don't despair yet, Justice.
Sir?
Right. There's something I'd like to make clear. Namely your connection to the case at hand, and I'd like to hear it from you.
Sure, why not? Very well. The defendant will amend his testimony. Just one little press. And I've got myself a whole new testimony. Okay, so we have to press this one. I plead silence regarding the murder. But I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Silence? The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage. And it's your job to turn that around in our favor, yes? Great. Like I didn't have enough to do already.
He is definitely making it work for it.
Hold on.
Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about the testimony?
Oh, now I see what I need to do. Huh? Wait, something he said did ring a little strangely. Just one thing. Now, what was it? Okay, this is the moment we present the evidence.
When you figure it out, I suggest presenting evidence. Evidence that contradicts the testimony.
A contradiction in Mr. Wright's testimony. But why? Better check the court record. Can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony.
Isn't it a little early to jump to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need any information, don't forget to press.
Right, I got it. I'm fine. Okay, I think I got a way we can make this work. I'll skip a few lines of dialogues on Kristoff. Giving you a little time each for you to read before it passes to the next statement. That way we could speed it up a little.
Alright. I'm also writing down clues and everything else. I love a good mystery.
Alright. Let's take a look. Okay, so let's go back to the statement where he did the thing. Now we present the bottle because it has Phoenix's fingerprints on it. That is a very loud objection. So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon? This grape juice bottle? Right? So I said. Something the matter, Mr. Justice? Really? A hair flip? Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb. What's this, Mr. Payne? I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints. Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. That was awkward. Ouch.
Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears and our case.
But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about the fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The fingerprints... I almost forgot how loud his objection is. Oh, they wouldn't
and
prove
shrill.
Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints. Huh? But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down. Upside down? What does that mean? It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can be only one reason for that. That makes sense. Yes. To brain someone with that bottle. Ah! Okay then. Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse.
Oh? I see no problem, Justice.
Huh?
The only thing that matters is the truth. That there's a good reason for everything. You'll see.
Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on the bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. Pleading the fifth. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case. I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten some. Also, objection. What might...
And what might that be, Mr. Gavin?
On the night of the crime, who was it that reported the murder to the police?
Reported? Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright. But still, that... Wait, it was him? Really? Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone. Near the scene? Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? Oh, we have a diagram now. The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from the ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above the ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant. I see. And this is the cell phone that made the call? So now we have Phoenix's cell phone.
The defendant could have just fled the scene to the crime if he chose to. Yet he fulfilled his duties as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative?
Egg! Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I better not waste this.
And also nice save from me with my line. I think the prosecution has toyed with your client enough for the time being.
Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room at the very moment the crime occurred? How can you be possible you know this?
That is a good question. How indeed?
The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say you are. So someone else was in the room that night of the crime. That must mean they witnessed the crime.
Everything up until now was just a warm-up. Are you ready?
Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. Oh.
So anyone who doesn't know why I'm exactly doing this too, I'm also writing down... Oh, gods above.
Another cutie. The witness will state her name and profession.
No, I'm just working up the voice.
I'll save you. I'll spare you the thing. Hold on,
Don't worry.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness? I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns. So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
Oh, the judge loves the women. I know it. You are sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please come out. Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor?
Tell that to Phoenix's hair.
Well, if you're sure. Okay.
Now the prosecution... wait a minute! Well, the prosecution can't explain the witnesses... paraphernalia? Paraphernalia?
Paraphernalia.
Yes. She is a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade. And that would be...
My name is Olga O'Reilly. I am employed as a waitress in the Borscht Club restaurant.
Then why the camera? Okay, can I suggest something really quick? Try leaving the video and then come back to watch it to see if it diminishes the delay a bit. Just to give it a test.
Go up, go back, then up around.
Pretty much. Also do...
Then why the camera?
Alright. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's see if it improves it. Then why the camera?
Of course, it's my pride to serve the Borscht in the naming restaurant.
And kinda, but again, we'll just have to work with it.
Right?
But I also perform houses at other service.
I take it one of the other services is taking the customers' pictures?
Like, for example, this one.
Hello?
Nice picture.
That's the defendant? Indeed. On the night of the murder.
A man in white hat is one leg gone kaput.
Indeed, that is the victim. So we have a cute girl that serves borscht. Order! Order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps.
It is the same way as I drop cold balls of wash on laps, casually.
Then the court will casually accept this new evidence. That's one way to use words. Now, witness, where were you on the time of the murder?
I was in the room, the hideout, we call it.
Excuse me, the hideout?
It is the room where famous gangster Bud guy was arrested. It is the room where murder took place.
What?
Your look of utter surprise. It is lovely. I will post by code involved by that. Photos will be numbered, and you will write which ones you'd like a copy of.
So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright and Olga Orley, our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means we can't make sure of that yet. We'll see.
Very well. Witness, you will testify to the court about that night's events.
All right then. That fateful night. Here we go.
That night, the customer asked me to deal cards per game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. Duh. The victim, he plays whole time with his hand locket on his neck. Then, last hand is done. But something terrible happened. That man flew at victim and strangling him to death.
Okay, we already see the bad thing there. We just have to press the bottle.
There has to be more to it than just that, too.
Right.
Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
And again, if we were going to talk about
That's
that,
ridiculous.
then it's
Because Mr. Wright can't lose. My God.
Justice, maybe you can come up with a little bit more legitimate objection.
But he hasn't lost in 7 years.
Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case in my first 7 years as prosecutor, either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here.
Okay.
These are the poker chips as they lay at the very moment of the crime. The hand and the chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say?
Yes. Imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils. I know that. After all, in my youth, I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3.
What is up with the judge? Okay. I think he means poker face.
Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table.
But if I look, wait, hold on. Let me take a look at the picture again.
Yeah, I wonder if you caught that too.
Okay, I see one. Let's see. On the side of Shady Smith, there I see a full house with 3 kings and 2 aces. But on the side of Phoenix,
but also, if you remember,
yeah,
why is the bottle there?
Yeah, why is the bottle on the side of Shady Smith there?
And on top of that, it's basically turned like that too.
Maybe
wouldn't it either A, the grape juice was spilled if it was possible, but
or maybe the bottle was already empty at that point. All right then.
Must be some alcoholic grape juice. Just saying.
All right, let's do the cross-examination. All right. I think we're already pretty much as.
That night, customers were dead. It was
just-
called wiggity wiggity
Oh, okay,
bobbity bobbity
hold on.
bibbity bobbity
Hold
bobbity.
on, I need to press on the hand on locket at his neck. Let me press that. His locket?
I believe it was good luck charm, da. He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yes, he must have felt as though he might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it was small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift. The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about? I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket? Of course, I knew that! It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that. No, a locket's a locket. What the fuck? What is with the...
It's considered bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society.
Hard of hearing or hard of understanding?
So what happened next?
Last time is that, but something terrible happened. We gotta press this one. Something terrible? Jesus!
Will you calm?
The defense will refrain from needless shouting.
Sorry. I need to seriously reconsider about this vocal training thing. Now, Miss Orly, can you tell us what happened?
Oh, I was frightened. I trembled with fear.
Okay, I think it's pretty much clear that we need to use this. Or wait, strangled him to death. Should it be the bottle or the autopsy report?
I did the autopsy report first.
Okay, let's see. There we go.
Let's hope I'm right.
Yeah, you're alright. Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd.
I love these puns so much.
No more customers. Only choke and borscht.
No, I mean, this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. Miss Orly, really now. Did you witness the crime? Wow! She's good.
Oh, you got that right. Also,
Was that a lobster?
I saw in there?
I think it was. Looking at the picture.
I don't know Russian food, so I couldn't tell you.
Looking at the picture, that doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything. Yet it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Ouch! Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation. Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
I'm Judge Obvious.
But I have seen it. I've seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim with his neck.
Oh, really, Miss Orly? I think I caught you in your own lie this time.
Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more.
What do you mean? I found a contradiction.
Adjust my glasses. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me.
Very well. I think we should continue the cross-examination. Huh. Okay then. So there's something else in this that we need to press or present.
There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too.
Customer asked me for a deal of cards at game. It was cool. Played with hats on. Plays the whole time with his hand. Okay, maybe we should Oh wait. After defendant tried to strangle victim, he hit them with bottle. Wait, what? You didn't say anything about hitting before.
So sorry. I must have forgotten this.
Witness, you will take greater care with your testimony.
She's...
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
And that clears up the discrepancy with the autopsy report, I believe. The defendant made to strangle his victim, then change his mind. And chose a simpler, blunter means to do the job. Yes, that sums it up nicely.
So he strangled him, then he hit him? Something's fishy about all this.
That seems really dumb, too.
Go
ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do.
Because I'm looking at the crime photos and it doesn't seem like he was strangled. I mean, I don't see any strangles.
Yeah. Exactly. There's no strangulation marks on the neck. If what she was saying was true and ran for the neck, there would have actually been either post-mortem or something.
Right, sir. Leave it to me. There were only 3 people in that room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, I've got you now, Orly. I don't think she did it. She looks too frail at it, too. Okay, I think we need to present this. I think so. No, I got it wrong.
There's something else that has to be there.
Yeah, I got penalized there.
Well, that's... we'll always start off with that.
Alright. Okay, let's take a look at the evidence first.
Actually, something
Sorry.
does. You're fine. Something does get me a little confused. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but her first thing. She was saying that she was. She said that basically she was dealing the cards. Was there somebody else that usually did? Or would that just be?
Oh, deal cards with. Okay. You were dealing cards. Do you do this often?
Duh! I am doing this. If customer wishes, I serve anything. Borscht, cards, more borscht. It is my work.
It's good to hear of a place here that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service.
You're welcome to the Borscht Club, where borscht is warmest as waitresses.
Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. It was cold. The victim played his hand locket on his neck. Wait a minute. Where's the locket? He doesn't have a locket.
Yeah. What? Yeah, that does seem weird. And I thought. Actually, check. Before you do that, check back up the picture that she did too. Was it on there beforehand?
Yeah, he has the locket. But then he doesn't.
Mm.
Hold on, let me check the chip photo.
Seriously, anyone in chat, I'll say this. I love a good mystery.
Okay, so let's see. With his hand locked on his neck. Last hand is done, but something terrible happened. After the defendant tried to strangle victim, he hit them with a bottle. There's something that I'm missing.
Was there more to her testimony, or was that it?
Hang on. The victim, he played with his hand locked. Let me press on this one. I don't remember pressing this one. It's already April. How could it be cold?
How warm is it?
At Borscht Club, we have pride in authentic, rustic, Russian theme. Outside it's city in spring, but inside it's always cold as well. Oh my god!
You seem to be laughing at that.
When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning, duh.
Okay, so I may be missing something. Okay, so let's see.
Okay, so
There has to be something. Deal cards for the game. It's cold. The victim played this whole time with his hand locked at his neck. Maybe I have to present something at the end. But I can't tell what it is.
well, maybe try that crime scene photo for
The first one?
the second one.
Well, that's what I did. But wait, hold on. Hat
Oh.
removed during the investigation. Okay, so the hat was removed only during the investigation. Is there a way? Hold on, let me see the
Death was caused
Cerebral
by a single blow.
cerebral hemorrhage resulted from blood trauma to the forehead, but there's nothing saying that. Maybe I should present the autopsy on the same statement. On this statement.
Maybe no, I wouldn't.
I'm gonna give it a try.
Actually, you got a point. Now, if it said nothing about that, where's it say about strangulation?
It doesn't say anything about strangulation. Okay, let me try this. No, that's not it. What am I missing? Maybe I should look. Okay, maybe. I really don't want to look it up online, but I really want to figure this out without having to look it up. Come on. There has to be something that I'm overlooking. He hit him with a bottle. We already pressed information on that. There's a bottle there. After defendant tried us. There's something I'm overlooking. What the hell's happening? Last hand and done. Wait a minute. Let me check the Chips photo. Wait, let me check this photo that Olga did. This doesn't seem to be happening in the scene of the crime. After all, the piano was not in the poker room. I'm overlooking something. What is it? Grape juice bottle used in the murder weapon. The sub-basement and the Borchburg Club. Let me check something. I mean, there's a window there. Wait.
Yeah, didn't somebody say... Yeah, that would be the only place she'd have to look, maybe. Because didn't they say that was the window where a goon would look out at?
True. But I'm looking at... hold on. Let me compare this photo with the chip photo. The bottle's on the same side, and I don't think we can actually see the hands. That's probably something. What am I missing? Okay, I really didn't want to look it up, but
Yeah, we'd rather look. And keep in mind, we'd rather look things up and everything else instead of, failing miserably.
okay, let me see. Wait, maybe we should hang on. Now that I'm thinking of it, let me go back to the statement of the locket. Okay, maybe if we present this one, maybe we're on the right track on this with this locket thing, because I want to see what happens. Oh!
Fingers crossed.
This was the right one. There was a curious part in her testimony, just like Aaron said. But what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what is it that you figured so intensely about? Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on locket at his neck, I believe she said. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a
this photograph.
Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? There we go.
Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you were able to handle this.
But what does it mean? If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor.
It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off. No.
Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean...
The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it?
Ah. Huh. That actually makes sense. Why did she believe there was a strangulation? The defendant! Why do you have to say this? Say. Yes? I just noticed this, but... You have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh, he does. Oh.
Huh, just now noted.
You mean this? Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Oh, whoa, what? Come again?
I'm suspect. Also... Well, if you insist. Shut up, Sal.
You... Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? We confirmed that at the time of the arrest. The picture in this locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. So Mr. Wright has a locket
daughter yet,
too.
or nothing?
Why don't I buy it? Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? Interesting. Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder,
Perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear that the defendant lost badly. Wait, Olga seems to...
Yeah,
Miss-
even she.
Miss Orley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
Da!
Alright then. Serious competition.
The game began with 3,500 points in the chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. One who was winning, it was victim. For last hand, defendant played with all chips on table and lost. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game. As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow. Ah, how many times have I heard these words? I done it for a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret it. They couldn't even read the rest. A common tale, but true. Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. I don't think that's the case. But let's see. Okay, we need to press information on these statements. Let's start with this one. Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules or used?
No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
So, if each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be...
7,000.
Exactly 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even a long division.
I bet the judge uses an abacus as a calculator. He doesn't know.
Okay, comes in two sizes, small and large. Small and large. Hang on, let me confirm something.
Yeah, small and large, but...
Okay, so if I count this, so let's say 3,500. Let's see. If we count these, I think we could count as. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 big chips and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 small chips. So if we calculate this right. Wait, hold on. We need to. I think we need to press to see. Hold on. Maybe pressing this statement will let us know. Are the chips used in this photo all the chips that were used?
Yeah, wasn't there like chips on the floor, or was it just cards?
Of course.
Something fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? Press harder. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips?
Explain? What is there to be explained?
Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. Not a chip of the old block. Not a motorcycle chip. Thanks. Now that I pressed there, I better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even?
Rupees?
Rubles.
Yes. As I've been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to...
Two chips were used. 100-point chips and 1,000-point chips. Wait.
It is not money.
It is not money, duh.
Justice.
Sir. That's what I want to know, because this was interesting. So
Don't you find our comment interesting? Agreed. Yeah. I counted it too. There was like
more
10,
ways than once, sir.
There's about 10 of those bigger ones.
That's right. Unless the bigger ones are the smaller points, and which could make sense. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah.
there's 6 small chips and 10 big chips. So if the big chips are 100 each, 10 times 100 is 1,000, and there's 6 small chips, which is 6,000. That gives a grand total of 7,000, right?
Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. 1, 2.
Can't believe we're actually doing
Wait.
math in a Phoenix Wright game.
I hate math.
Okay, so if I'm looking at this right, Phoenix has, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4,100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 900. Oh, I get it. I think yeah, let's add that to the testimony.
Yeah, there's something very fishy to that.
So Phoenix Wright wasn't losing, he was winning. Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where what was going on with this. Very well. Witness, if you would be so kind.
Your Honor. One kind of chip is worth 100 points. The other kind 1,000. 2 kinds in all.
Okay, let's press further on this one. Alright. It is important. Mr. Justice, do the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. We are not in kindergarten. Sorry, I'm fine. The 2 types of chips. The small ones are 100 and the big ones are 1,000. Right? Right, of course. Ha! Don't waste our time. Is that all? Yeah. Great, Mr. Gavin made me stop her and now I'm the one who looks dumb.
Oh,
Ouch.
Justice. Please try not to embarrass me like that.
Huh? Who? Me?
There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands.
What?
It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. We're not in kindergarten after all.
Yep. Okay, so if we present the chip picture on this, maybe? Alright, let's see if I'm right. I think it is. You sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure? It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at this picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten. Why is this statement about kindergarten? Just for safety's sakes, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points? Why, the big ones, of course, duh! Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
Actually, yeah.
Ah, now it makes sense. So I was right about the big chips and small chips. Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of the chips worth 7,000. Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see, 3 plus 1, carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points... I'm sorry, I need to make sure my voice is sounding correct. Alright.
Oh, it sounds right to me.
Alright. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up, how much is it? Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you?
Hey, I would have said that too.
10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. But why? How could this be?
Oh, come on. You should be in kindergarten. Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why.
Right. There's only one place transition. The chip. Let's see. Starting points were wrong. The chip count was wrong. Am I right?
Yes.
The odd thing here in the number of chips is the number of chips, right, Mr. Gavin? Right, Mr. Gavin?
Why are you asking me?
Just in case?
Justice, it's your case I'm concerned about. If you're wondering about the chips, just look at the photograph. It's all there. Even our judge with his feeling eyesight could count them.
That's not the only thing following the judge. Let me ask you again. The starting points were wrong, the chip count was wrong, but maybe both were right. Except it's just... I think the reason is both were right. We just got the start... It's not the starting points. Because the starting points were right. We just put the numbers wrong.
Yeah, let's try that then. The starting points.
Alright, let's try the starting points. This calculation makes the answer clear. If the total combined points at the table was 10,600, then each man started with 5,300 points. 5,300? That's a rather half-baked score on which to start a game.
Justice, would different starting points really change anything?
It seems the defense's objections was more half-baked than the score. So both were right. I knew it. Time to head back into the kitchen. Alright, both were right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around. What? Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones. Madness! Utter madness! Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. So I was right.
Well, this game can be confusing. Excellent work, Justice. Voice crack. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself.
Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it. But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing. It does change. Indeed.
Yeah, it does.
The victim did have a large number of chips still. I think the judge figured it out. Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points and the defendant had 4,100 points. Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all. That's impossible! My client even had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning! Yuck! Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips. Since you were there at the scene of the crime, weren't you? She's good.
Seriously, I agree.
She would make Tobey Maguire from the first Spider-Man look butch with that. Order! Order! It appears our defendant had lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust... Wait, who said hold it? What? Excuse me, what is it, Miss Orley?
I did not want to be saying this, but... Actually, you see,
See what, Miss Orley? What do we see? Wait, what? There was a cheat?
in the left hand.
There was a A cheat?
A cheat? You don't mean a trick? Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're all the same thing.
A trick, a scam, a bamboozle, a smecador. That's not even a word I agree with you with.
But where's a cheat? Wait a minute. You're seeing this, right?
Yeah, I see that card right over there by the bottle.
Yeah, you're right. There it is. Great. Just great. First we have lying, now cheating. What's next? Stealing?
I have to. Viva la raza! This case, the current time is taking a turn. I'm stuttering over my worst words. For the interesting.
Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand.
Let's stretch. Sorry, needed to do that. The final hand.
You're fine. The last hand, both men had full house. There's 4 of each in deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, the cheat is more obvious. The next moment, the game becomes an argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith.
Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers.
A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make, in my experience.
That alone
Exactly.
is enough. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin? What's a full house?
Lawyers these days. You don't know your poker? I can't say this bodes well for your case or career.
What is this, some kind of secret court poker rig?
You'd be surprised, though. Justice? You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes?
Yeah, no problem. 2 cards from the same number makes a pair, and 3 cards make 3 of a kind.
Mm-hmm. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and one 3 of a kind. That's a full house.
That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
Yeah.
You can see each player's hand in this photo.
Yeah, let me check that picture again.
But yeah, both players have full houses. But yeah, there's this little card right there on the bottom.
We forget.
Yeah,
there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat. The defense may cross-examine the witness.
If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Kind of think of it, yeah. If he cheated, why is the final hand lost? Because, as you can see in the picture, while both have full house, Smith has the better hands.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So that would have to mean that he did that.
That's true. Both men had a full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. Wait, 4 of each card.
No, that's right.
But Phoenix has a 7.
What do you mean?
4 of each kind. Oh, from ace to king. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know cards of decks. I've had many of them.
4 of each card, you say? Yep.
There's only 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It's interesting fact that the number 4 comes from the number of seasons.
Huh, you don't say. Ah, and did you know that the cards are numbered 1 to 13? Add all the cards in the deck and you hit 364 a year. Huh, you don't say. Isn't that 1 day short? 364?
And leap year, so
That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year. Thus, yeah, you have a perfect representation of the year. All in a deck of cards. Huh, you don't say. Huh, the more you know. I did not know that. Interesting. We're gonna be in this corner for a year if it keeps going like this.
check that court record real quick.
Okay. Why, do you want to see the chip photo?
Yeah, back to that one. What's that? If that's what they said, and then if anyone had the Joker, either it, depending on what card game you have with it, and this is just interesting rule of thought if you didn't know about this, Joker could mean wild, which means they could either fit into a hand, would be any number of those ones. If I remember correctly, it's either 1 through 12, I think. I could be wrong.
I guess.
So
Anyway.
it could have basically won the hand either or.
Alright.
It depends on what game it is.
Okay, let's
Because
let's
there's
press on
7
the cheat
card
on
draw, 7 card stud. Sorry.
this. Right. How is it clear? A 5th ace?
The defender.
What do you mean?
I still remember both hands very well.
Mr. Sis had 3 aces. Wait, what?
Mr. Knight's
But that can't be right. Smith has 3 kings, not 3 aces.
Yeah, and on top of that, even if it was the case, Smith would have won the hand either or.
Obviously, cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say, a hand. Perhaps this could be added to the testimony? When I'm Mr. Payne's joke. Sorry, I'll write this is your line, sorry.
Hey, you're fine, but that does bring up a good point, though. Why would he throw that away, too? Because ace is still considered a high number.
Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. Time to press this one. That was an easy way. It appears the witness is mistaken. Wait, what?
Mistaken? But my name...
Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not?
One of the justice. Perhaps you have to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point.
Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. Obviously, it's Shady Smith's hands. Miss Orley, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the third ace in question. Take another look at the evidence.
Would it be? Yeah, why would it be all the way over at his chair, dum-dum?
As you can see, the defendant had also had 2 aces in his hands. Where's the 5th ace? I see cheating alright, and it's going right here on this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating. I swear to you.
That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her on lay.
You're right to trust your instincts.
Mr. Gavin?
Who knows what lies in the store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards.
The cards? Mr. Yes?
Mr. Payne?
Yes? Oh?
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court.
Very well. The prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? Okay, so... Shall we take a look at the victim's hand or the defendant's hand? Because both are suspicious in their own right.
You got that right.
I think we should take a look at the victims first.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 kings and everything else and 2 aces, that would have been the stronger hand.
The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well. Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well. Okay, so let's examine this.
Well, time's a wasting. Get to it, Justice.
Yes, sir. Oh, it's doing it by itself. I don't know if you... Can you read that?
Oh, yes. When examining the evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using the dials on your evidence viewer.
Ah, so
that should give you a better perspective on the case.
Ah, so we're back to the evidence examining from the third case of the first game.
That's interesting.
Okay, so yeah, there are 3 kings, and there's no. Hello.
What do you think? What do you think?
One of them had a blue deck, and it's one of the kings. Here we go. Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color. Really? You examined the evidence and you couldn't see an obvious. You couldn't see an obvious change of card covers.
Wait a minute. Wait. But I put that card in.
Hello.
On top of that,
what?
Didn't they say the deck they were using was the blue deck? I know they said they used 2, but they didn't specify which one was going to be which.
That's true.
What was that? Really? Yes, I merely said, I have ich.
Wow, she's stuttering a lot.
I know her pain.
Mr. Gavin, yes?
Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
It'd be to deal the cards, of course. I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer.
Wait, so you mean this witness, Miss Orley? What?
She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. A dealer.
Interesting. Order! Order! Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. Of her mistake. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. She put that card in Mr. Wright's hand.
That's impossible. I put that card in... Yeah. You know what? Flashback, you read. Got it.
Or Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith.
Dun dun dun.
Not only did
not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley? Are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. What?
Well, just it landed just perfectly right.
Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orley? It
Where
appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor. Mr. Justice, Your Honor, it seems you presented a new possibility to the court, one suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mrs. Smith. That means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time. What?
Ouch.
I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging the trial of this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Wait, what? What?
So who's the objection coming from?
From Phoenix? Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing now? Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous! Mr. Payne,
Well,
you of all people should know, Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Ain't that the truth?
he's not wrong.
Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game of that fateful night. Okay, so, as was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. That was said before. The 2 decks at the club have different colored blacks. Blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, if you use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. You use different colors and it is still get mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever. In the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating. Yes, the card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When?
Maybe the final. Wouldn't it be the final one? The final hand?
Well, he did say in the last call, in the last deck. When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks to the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course, it was swapped. Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne. Or it might not be. Why is he being so mysterious? I'm actually liking
that
this.
Right.
Yuck! I like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? I don't... Do you think Olga wasn't cheating, though? What, like... We see the card there, but he's got a point. What if somehow, some way, the cards were swapped only after the murder? Let me examine this really quick. I don't see anything suspicious.
Well, not that you think. Well, not if you really don't look at it from one angle. If you notice where how that king was set up like that, it looked like it was the most recent card added.
Hold on, let me see.
Look at the other 4 cards and then look at the King of Diamonds.
You're right. The King of Diamonds looks like it's above it. Wait, is it the King of the Diamonds that was in front?
That was
Oh,
the
it
one with
is.
the fake back.
You know what? It could make sense if it was added after the murder. Someone must have taken the actual card. You know what? Let's go with that. Perhaps it happened after the murder?
What's that? Ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly.
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh? Even with the back of the cards that are a different color? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ah,
And she cut.
quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight onto crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed?
Think of it.
That's one of the mysteries before us. There is another?
Oh, I'm liking this.
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? What? Who?
Eh? The game and the murder is done. The victim is dead. Only 2 remaining in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga O'Reilly. Help me say her
O'Reilly.
name.
So who was
Orly.
it that swapped the red card for a blue card? It could have been someone else though. But
I think it might have been Smith. Remember what Olga was saying there? She said that she gave that card to Phoenix.
that is true. Wait, what if she actually did give the ace to Phoenix, but then something happened to Smith, and there. Imagine, like, for example, this is like a theory, but what if Blood got on one of the cards, and he had no choice but to swap the card to make it look like a you know what I mean?
Yeah. If Blood got on that card, it would paint for a picture basically of him being guilty. But I don't think Phoenix would do that.
I'm gonna say someone else. Let's see what happens. The one who swapped in the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orly either.
What are you suggesting?
That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you, Ms. O'Reilly, for you to be Ms. O'Reilly at this moment.
Yes, I know, but she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card.
And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright?
Oh, my apologies, Your
Phoenix.
Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all this is.
Good
Fine.
God, is he just
How
like...
about confusing? I've no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orly, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. He's thinking outside the box, and that's what he's trying to teach us.
A new
I'll-
direction?
We'll find that.
You could say One Direction.
We'll find that, indeed, after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand, and that someone made 2 critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us the first with swapping the wrong color card? Because
You're fine there, go ahead.
Sorry. Because the one who did swap did the swap didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on that card. Right. The person replaced the 5th ace, with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there would be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up the king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True, not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else in the night of the scene of the crime.
Oh?
What? This should be interesting.
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
This trial has proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Very well. The trial will resume in 20 minutes.
I'm liking this a lot.
I can see that. You're getting interested in this case. And I bet you're wondering what the heck happened to the Phoenix, right? To make him be like that.
Agreed. Then again, this kind of feels like a natural progression to him, to be honest. Seriously, there'd be only one person that could basically pull assumptions and something like that out of his own ass. Just saying. It had to be a star poker player.
I was waiting for you to read those lines, but apparently you didn't read them. Well now.
Well, let's try. Well, I tried to, I guess. Sorry.
Well now. I think you would know the answer to that.
Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mystery. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome.
I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff.
Justice?
Yes, sir? The
judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me.
You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Ah, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there. Yep.
So are we gonna get teased for her, or is it? Yep.
I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. Sooner than you realize, Apollo. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago. What I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I never, honest! But it is odd that you managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Huh? You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like a trial law? In a way. Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding! That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No? Come on, who'd notice that? Oh, I believe I remember this. Get ready, because there's gonna be a new feature in this game. You'll find out.
I'm liking this.
Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will. Soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it! I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. Go, get ready. Don't tell me to continue now. We're keeping this going.
Yeah, I figure we can do like one case per session.
Well, depending on parts and stuff.
Yeah, length. We don't want a repeat confirmation of a certain case. Right, so Lord?
You mean that 6-hour stream we did with the Rise from the Ashes?
God above, I still remember not getting that much great sleep.
Right? That stream with Rise of the Ashes was super long. We didn't realize we were so into the story that okay.
In other words, deja vu.
But don't worry, it's first case, so it shouldn't take long. Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga, recovered? Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness.
Well, that is what it means, dum-dum.
Okay,
Perhaps we can hear her version.
Oh, okay, allow me to say...
Perhaps we can hear her version of events again.
I'm gonna say leave all the dialogue to me, and you can react along. Okay? That's the thing.
Oh, fine.
You see, she's quite fatigued. You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession? Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poorer loser. Not. Uh-oh.
What?
Name's Olga Orley. The truth. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quickfingers Orley. Oh, really? Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like oh really.
I know, right?
Wow. Really, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. But wow, that's a transformation! Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see? Let me remind you that you're currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Fine. But yeah, you didn't expect that transformation, right?
I mean, from Russia with love, I guess?
Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple. Elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of the games. And when the hands were revealed, Smith will call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card, and the trap had been snatched, and the trap would snap shut. You swapped the cards! Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of it, it would have been a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins. A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. What do you think about that?
I mean, if that was the plan, then...
Oh, really,
well...
really, Orly? How droll. How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake. A mistake? I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet, what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right! He's lucky, I'll give him that. You had to be the slip free from the trap laid by Olga Quickfingers Orly. Oh, really? The witness will be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick. Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the quote. Tell us about this trap and how it sprung. Interesting. Alright then. Let's hear what she has to say. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked out a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was a no-good cheating defendant. Also, you noticed she had the back of her hand back when she said that, right?
Yeah, I noticed that one.
A surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark. The plan was perfect, I tell you, perfect! If that one cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking. Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice. With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Alright, let's see what we have to press. Let's press this first one. This planted card. Which card was it exactly? The trump card. The 5 of hearts. Let me guess. Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 with the 5 with the ace to make a full house. What do you mean? At least that's what you were doing to accuse me of doing, thereby ruining his legend. I slid it into Wright's pocket. When was this? Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we serve borscht. And suckers. Ha!
Did it...
Remind me never to go there. Of course, the card was to make his grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. And Wright lost the last hand like he was supposed to, and that Smith searched him. So, everything went according to plan. Exactly. The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud. There are worse things to be known, I suppose. Tell us what happened with the search.
Not wrong.
But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Let's press this one. The card disappeared? Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone. Without a trace. Poof! Zippo! We searched every nook and cranny. Even inside his cute little hat.
Hat?
But the card was nowhere to be found. Is this correct? Never in my long storied career. Never has Quickfingers Orly been so readily duped. Oh, really? So what did happen with the 5 of hearts? Why are we getting... I think we're getting so many... Don't look at me. Why don't you ask the cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? So the 5 of hearts is still missing in action. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. Pressing that one. Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat. Which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... Oh, here it comes.
Huh.
You're noticing that, right?
Okay.
What was that just now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Yeah, we do.
Press.
Mr. Orley, you're hiding... Mr... What am I saying? Mr... Miss Orley, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You... Me? Quick Fingers Orley, hide something? The defense will refrain from baseless accusations. I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Wright hit him. There it is. With my own eyes, I saw it. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Touching her neck, was it? Here's the new mechanic.
So how does this work?
Whoa, what's going on? The sensation. It's coming into focus. There! That twitch, it's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before. Yep.
Perceive.
Miss Orley, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I have noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of her testimony, she subconsciously recalls something. Her body reacts to the memory, and she touched her neck. I'm sure of it.
Ooh.
Memory? Would someone care to explain what she's babbling about? This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us? Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her the moment of the crime? What would remind her most of the moment of the crime? Miss Orley, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happen when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an impression on your neck is the bottle, right?
It'd have to be.
Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touched her neck. It reminds us more of, and what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon. But something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, then why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What's he talking about now? It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit. Not you! This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture.
I mean, isn't it?
The witness's habits? They're completely irrelevant. Justice?
Not really.
I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now is our only chance to break her. Miss Orley, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. And yet, I have known nothing. Why did she go back? Why did she go back into her meek Russian look? We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify. Please, now. Bah, fine. He's the one who did it, and didn't let him out of my sight until the cops got here. Pressing that one. You seem uneasy. You try sitting up here. Your eyes are darting all over the place. You must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at the table until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. Right?
That's what I do.
It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence. What's that? Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim that contradicts her testimony. She didn't let him out of sight until the cops got here. Yep, it contradicts the phone. Used by the defendant identified from the restaurant's first floor. Miss Orley, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. So explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. The
poor lobster!
The man who picked up the bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant. It wasn't? Oh, we're back at this again. So who was it? You dirty cheat! Check his pockets now! It's gone! The card's gone! You lose. Ah! Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to right. And he hit me! What? You some master of cheating you turn out to be! Eh! When I came to, the victim was already dead. Is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. Well, where does this leave us? Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming! It must have been me who was hit with the bottle, and I'm imagining all of this! It appears our prosecution is at its wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir? I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Orley a big fat liar. What? 3 were in the room that night of the murder. The defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And an announcement of that argument was murder. What? I'm no killer! It's a trap! Someone's trying to frame me! And Phoenix is laughing again. What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled, we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright? Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. A 4th person. Ha! This theory again! Your 4th person doesn't exist! Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal.
The real criminal?
And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less.
What?
I'm with him. What?
Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Sorry? Remember what I said. The fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color of the backs of the cards. Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there is one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. Kind of think of it. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, I think you can figure out who it was.
It's not me, I swear! Who is this fourth person?
Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? Well, I do remember one person who said they thought they were blue. Him. Kristoff. As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right? Kristoff Gavin. You were the fourth person that night. But of course Mr. Gavin knew the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is in black and white. You can't tell which one of the cards are blue. The ones on the floor or the table. But look!
Oh!
As you can see, the color of this. As you can see, the colors in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. Oh! It is true that the defendant was engaged in the game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs weathered in blue flame, know its final outcome. Oh!
Oh!
Well, Kristoff? Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Gavin! Is something the matter?
No, nothing, Your Honor. Excuse me, I was just so... sudden. Right. You aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff? Even I never take a joke this far. Wow.
This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity! The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder?
I assure you, I'm quite sane.
But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have with the victim?
I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith, either.
Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met!
Well, what if they have? You okay there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Huh?
I'm not asleep or anything. I'm just I'm listening to all this.
There is a possibility after all.
It feels so weird not being able to do the voices.
I'll have to think of a way to make it work. They may have met that night. Sorry?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe edit this or make it be like the Elements of Justice or something like that. We could do a dub of this.
Maybe. They may have met that night before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
Is this the truth? Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the... The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happen before the game of poker can be related? He's trying to weasel his way out of this.
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss Orley...
Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you.
Oh!
Not wrong.
Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony? Yes. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along, and I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. A2, Justice. You would betray me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. It's about the truth. Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. Alright. Appetite before murder. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat on the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on the forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Mr. Gavin? You were at the Borscht Bowl Club the night of the murder? I dine with him quite frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will. I had become involved in the murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when you took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong. Very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Justice? Sir? He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin, versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Alright then. Okay, let's press this one. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Wait, I think we need to present the phone to the statement where he called Christoph. Yes, he danced with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite recently. We were enjoying the usual dinner at our user spot, as usual. Usual? I would sit at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where Mr. Swift was sitting. So the plates and such on the table from your dinner? Indeed. The remnants of my meal were with Christoph. We dined for 2 hours, and then Christoph left. After that. 5 minutes after Christoph left. Let's press that. 5 minutes? So the two of them could have been passed in the restaurant during that time? That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure. Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Christoph Gavin and Shady Smith may have met? I believe I did say that. Here I was nervous about this meeting, and now we hear that you just passed it all? That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. Oh, it would be, if that was all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. Where were you hiding this time? When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga Orley mentioned, right? The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. It was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their heads were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would be snapped shut. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to the pieces. Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted! Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found that it was a 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice that I've been drinking beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice?
The murder weapon?
Oh.
Yes. I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like a terrific drama. A card inside a murder weapon? That's strange. The police miss him in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves of this battle of wits. Please provide the testimony with this new information. Can I actually check the bottle? Oh, I can. Let's see if he's right. I can't open it though.
I'd say roll it up. Not like up, maybe down?
Apparently it was Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes into his borscht. I can't exactly open the bottle though. I thought you could just by examining it, but apparently I can't.
Maybe you can...
Let's press this one. Why in the bottle? I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to entrapment, you see. I knew that what was coming. Oh, so you struck first. I like that. I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, that they don't. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at that time? Not a soul. It was in the middle of the night after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. And when you returned, the victim was already dead, yes. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in. A little? He was bleeding from his forehead after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked up at a scene like that. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously got involved in a rather sticky affair. And I figured Kristoff's law offices would give me a friend rate for his defense fees. Ah, glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? He's lying. Expose him. Okay. But if I present the phone to him, it could be disastrous. But let me see the phone. Maybe I can check it. I don't see anything that's... Wait, what's this? The batteries are held with a piece of tape. Oh, it's one... Yeah, I had some of my old phones, my old remotes that have that too.
We got a raid going on.
Someone's raiding? Are you serious?
Yep.
Oh my god. Hi everybody. Never expected a raid happening so soon.
Raid, party of fun.
Thanks. Shade Smith walked for 5 minutes as Kristoff left. Discovered a trap during the game and disposed of the card in a bottle. Should I present the bottle then?
Basically, I was hearing something about the raid. I forgot what you're saying about the tape.
There was a tape in the back of this phone, basically to hold up the battery container.
Ah.
There is a...
You guys must have had really bad phones. Mine didn't do that.
Should I...
Wait, no. What? Technically it dropped, and when it would drop, it would do that. Back in the day with my old phone.
It doesn't say that used by the defendant, but it doesn't say that it was... Maybe I should present the bottle to this statement, right?
Maybe.
No, it doesn't. It clearly contradicts the... No, it doesn't. I wanted to see if this happens. Okay. Okay. You discovered a trap during the game and disposed of the card in the bottle. I'm not so sure what... Well, there is a cut on his forehead, alright. Let's see here. There's something that I'm not noticing.
Check that bottle real quick, Gillian. I know, I'm probably doing this, but I don't know, something just...
I'm checking everything. All I could examine was the label. Wait. The bottle's completely empty. It's empty.
Wait. That's another thing that gets me, too.
What?
Why was his fingerprints... They only said about his fingerprints.
Maybe someone used the gloves. There has to be something I'm not paying attention. Used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant's first floor. Which I... Hang on.
You are cheating with your own phone.
Okay, maybe I have to check the... Hold on, when I said this, they say the bottle is empty. Should I... Maybe I should press it and do that again. Let's try
Maybe.
this. Also, I was right if I had checked it before. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? I've examined the bottle and I don't see any card in here. No. What? Mr. Wright? Surely, isn't all that you have to say for yourself? I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came in and took it out? Oh, and a sixth person could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor. I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright winding us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue your cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Well, why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? Okay. There's something weird going on. That's when I'm in our call. Okay. There's something I'm not realizing here.
Wait, something that...
Wait a minute.
By the way, I saw the light of your phone, cheater.
No, it's to check a notification. Sorry. Let's see. Hold on. Wait a minute. He was right about the blood in the... Hold on. Photo of the forehead. Hat removed during the investigation. But here... It was on, right?
Yeah, it was... Yeah.
Huh. I'm right here. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Just good point? Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? Ah, I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. Huh?
Huh?
You? You put the hat on the dead man's head? He wore it through the entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view, shining bright, just like in this photograph. And I picked the hat off from the floor and put it on his head. Why'd you do such a thing like that?
I'm with him.
All I can say is, I'm sorry, but that's the only thing I touched in the crime scene. So Miss Orley didn't see it? It being the victim's, his head? I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Ah, here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon. It just seems that our client was determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Ooh, there's a mystery. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you attempt to even tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Huh? When I noticed the trap, I put the card in a bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hand on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night. Recall that I spoke with the defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Let's hear it. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game's not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him. Hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china plate? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Bone china plate? A kind of porcelain. It's very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. Oh? The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Wait a second. Something is not right about that phone call. So, after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bowl Club? Most certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china pate? Oh? That's right. Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted Mr. Sith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come to your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put your victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it, Phoenix Wright? Oh boy. Sparks are flying.
Ooh.
Order! I will have order, Mr. Payne! Yes, Your Honor? I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear defense attorney Gavin's testimony? Well, as the prosecutor, Very well. We'll break it for 10 minutes, after which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well. This will be the final recess up for the day. Good boy.
April 20th, 2:32 p.m.
Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who would have thought today would turn out like this? May I? Hello? Huh?
Hmm?
What?
Oh,
Hello, sir. Please, pick a card. Well, what's this all about? This one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is
Ooh.
magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. Hello! An ace. Where do I remember this card from? Mr. Smith has 3 aces and Mr. Wright 2. It is 5 aces in all. It is true, I have seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. There's blood on that ace.
I can't help it. I am referencing all sorts of songs. The only guy that's the space.
I know you were gonna reference Motorhead. The missing 5th ace. Wait, this splotch of red. Is this blood?
It ain't paint.
You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth? Alright then. I fell deep into thought as my mind has raced to understand what this all meant. That girl. I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. Yep. That is her daughter. Alright then. Back in the court.
It's done. Huh.
Court
With
will
no
now
Ga-
reconvene.
And with no Gavin basically by his side, so he's on his own.
No Christoph. Defense attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. Will the witness state his name and occupation? Is this farce necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone in this courtroom. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing it means the fact that Shady Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it. Whoa! Whoa, suddenly he's on our side! I wouldn't call it inordinate.
How? Why is he there? Why?
Sorry, but let me appreciate. Because I missed the song. Sorry. I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright? What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking at things from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taken it off except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit? Oh! When Mr. Wright returned from the reporting of the crime, the hat was laying on the floor. What? Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to be at the scene of the crime, at the time of the crime. In other words, you have to be the real killer, is what you're trying to say. Not bad, Apollo. Interesting. Mr. Gavin? I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh? I assure you I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well. Allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night.
Okay. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us. How
Also,
were you...
a lot of truths being thrown around.
Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? Let us find out. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in this photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at that time, so I left. That's when the call came from Wright. I doubt it. So you witnessed the murder? For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team? Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand, after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you would have to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Oh. Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. Can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. As of any trial.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, you kind of peek after you basically have a freaking parrot as your, witness. Just saying.
Let's press the first statement. That man, you mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that. So then you knew the true nature of your client's job? Of course, but also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends after all. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared that Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score. I see. What happened then? I went down to the basement and peeked through the little window by the hideout. The little window? You mean the one used to keep watch from up the stairs? Yes. A relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe. Why did you go for the trouble of peeking through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open a door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes. What if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking in under a little match. Bad form, to say the least. So far everything he's saying makes sense. Okay. I must have been right after the murder took place. Pressing that one. How do you know it was right after the murder? Really? No need to shout, Justice. I was just getting to that part in my testimony. Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West we know and love. Even when you're standing up there in the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. With friends like these, who needs enemies?
Ain't that the truth?
The victim was dead, as he appeared in the photo. By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. And then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat. Can you describe the scene of the crime for us? A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw at least. Then we're back to where we started. The killer was the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police? 2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend. There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice,
I just said what I saw no one. Not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright has said. Ah yes, this mysterious fourth person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to have swapped cards in the victim's hand? Oh. Perhaps you could show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? How can I show something? I can't find myself. Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the fifth ace. The fifth ace, right. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out the card has been raised. Can you point out the reason? I don't know if we should we show it now or not yet?
Wait, fifth ace. Yeah.
I don't know if we could show it now. Maybe we have to press more info on the... What?
I think that...
What?
Phoenix said he... Let's see. Phoenix said he hit the thing... He hit the card in the bottle.
Yes.
But yet the bottle was empty.
Yep.
But there's something else with that.
Yeah?
The card was the five of... Wasn't the card a five of hearts, not an ace?
Yeah, but remember, the killer swapped the five of aces that Shady Smith had with a king of diamonds. I think we need to press first. Not yet, Your Honor.
Agreed.
Not yet? Ha! Pathetic. Not yet? Try not ever. Well, Mr. Gavin? Oh, I'm willing to wait for as long as it takes. Great. I don't even know what the heck I'm looking for. Apollo. Yes, sir? Don't forget, you already know the answer. You just don't realize it yet. I already know the answer? Take a moment to think it over again, okay? Time so I left. Let's press this one. Wouldn't it have been better for wait till the police to arrive? Remember though, by that time I was already Mr. Wright's defense attorney. It wouldn't do for me to become part of the investigation. That makes sense. Or does it? I'm confused. Well, what happened next? That's when the call came from Wright. Where were you when the phone call came? I had already left the Borscht Bowl Club by that time. On the phone, he asked me to defend him. Naturally, I was surprised. I accepted, however. I couldn't abandon him. So kind of you. So far everything jives with Mr. Wright's testimony, I think. It is going to be a problem for you to cross-examine your own boss. I'm fine! Who was it that taught me to never pull punches in my cross-examination? It was you, Mr. Gavin. I learned it from watching you. Okay, so now we can try pressing that card. Alright, so let's press this one again. Oh, I didn't know I could skip that just by holding down the button.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yep. Can you point out the reason? Yep. It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the fifth ace? Because it has blood on it. My reason is, this. Is that an ace? Why, it's got blood on it! Right next to the spade! What? Oh, look at Kristoff's face.
Oh.
This is insane! Why wasn't I told about this? Why? Could this be? Could this be the missing fifth ace? Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card? Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club that night after the murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade, after all. No! Impossible! Unacceptable! The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud! A fraud? How can you be so
fraud?
sure? What? I would think the only person who could have claimed it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Oh!
Ooh.
Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime? Where are you going with this? Take another look at the photo, and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell onto the floor, and a trickle of blood from his forehead down to the back of his neck. The back of his head, sorry, not neck. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is not permissible. Oh? Right. Regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken the card from the crime scene? And now, I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see. Wow, he's objecting a lot. This is baseless conjecture. Baseless!
On top of that, isn't Payne supposed to be doing it?
Also, he objected. Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really. How could a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth? It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. Ooh, 3D effects.
Very nice.
The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found on a poker table. And, before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with the scene. Well, what is it? Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on that card, whose position in the diagram doesn't fit? The victims? The killers? The witnesses? The second witnesses? Whose position does it fit with the bloody card? Is it the victim? Or is it the witness?
Maybe the second witness, maybe.
Whose position does it fit with the bloody card? I think it could be the victim's.
Let's find out. At least it's not a do or die. You mess up, but if you lose.
Isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sitting back on his chair. You think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him?
Oh.
Take a look at the photo again. If he bled into this position, the blood would have fallen on the floor, not on the cards. Why, that's right. So, what does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. Oh, cool. I can do that. The chair was facing the other way? It would have to be. So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, why was the chair... which way the chair was facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at this diagram once more. We know that the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's test your reassuring skills, shall we? Reasoning, not reassuring. Apollo, whose location in this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? This time, it's the second witness.
You're right.
What doesn't make sense is the second witness. You mean to say I don't make sense? Oh, no, of course you do, sir. As I thought. Okay, that wasn't right. Mr.
Help.
Justice, I'm a little hard of hearing. Did you say something? Would you be kind enough to show the court one more time what you mean? Whose location on this diagram contradicts the new understanding of the crime?
The witness, second witness is the killer's or...
Which contradicts?
Would it be the killer?
Could be. Let's see. The victim was struck in the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front, sitting from when this indicator is currently is? I would think it would be quite hard. Yes. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of the game? I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was facing as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking in the diagram. What? But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's take it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer would have to be to strike the victim from the front?
Maybe like right beside him?
The killer would have to be standing, well, here. You get the points for flair, but that's all about you get. I thought I was onto something there too. I really need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed up the cupboard and hit him from above? Ha! It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there. What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation. Right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Ah, Your Honor. What? There's one more thing your man should look for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. Okay. What is going on here? Well, let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. Sorry. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
Thank you. As you could see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to be shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my. What's this? What is it now? Look at the diagram of the crime scene one more. It appears we've found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh dang. Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Yep, I noticed. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point out the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Which indicator of this diagram contradicts what we know about the crime? This time it's the second witness.
Ah.
About this cupboard. Are we all okay where it's assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window up to the stairs. Ah! That's right. Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see it. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What did you say? Oh? Is the coolest defense in the West losing its cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, well, in the window of the room was blocked by the cover. By the cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where did you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order! This is a court of law and I will have order! We just now received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard and the hideout, Your Honor. Oh? And what did you find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it. What? Oh my! And yes, I believe I mentioned something of this sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. I do remember he said something about that now that he mentions it. A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal going-outs. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage. Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops, and enjoy a cool bowl of borscht, no doubts. A cold bowl, just like our killer. Oh my. Well, Christoph, do you have anything to say about that? You see where our line of the simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? Come on, say something! Dare I ask what really happened that night? Actually, I think we could probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith, a date with Destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for the right moment. Then a chance came, and he took it. Ah! Ah! Why did you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. Miss Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was too soon to come. Mr. Smith went upstairs and called to call the cops, leaving Mr. Sadie Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him, he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red! You boy. Well, Christoph? Well, it seems this trial had taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne? Yeah! Yes, Your Honor? The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Felix Wright, the defendant is here. He is hereby clear of all suspicion.
Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately. Are you Oh, no need to apologize. I'd rather enjoyed myself. He still has some fight in him, huh? It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me? The defendant is cleared of all suspicion? This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. Illegal evidence? Excuse me.
You're fine.
Let me ask you, Mr. Yeah, I noticed. I was really thirsty. Jeez. Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course. This bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingertips on the murder weapon? And not just any fingertips. Am I right, Mr. Payne? Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were upside down. Oh, that's right.
And only his fingerprints.
The court, in this case, demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold the bottle upside down. And that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor? See how the caught fish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo, he's still calm after all this.
How calm?
How calm? Yes, your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. But I'm sure you could come up with a suitable explanation. Just like that. Yeah. Just like what? What would anyone grab a bottle upside down, other than to... Oh. Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words? It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions, indeed. Well, Mr. Justice? Mr. Gavin said that the court, in this case, demand an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court? What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle were upside down? Let me see if I can examine the... It doesn't show. The bottle is... They say that the bottle is empty, but it doesn't explain why the fingerprints were gone. What evidence do I have that explains why the fingerprints on the bottle were upside down? Wait a minute. Oh! I think I know why. Do you see the way he's sitting there?
Yeah.
He could have grabbed the bottle upside down just to pick up the bottle.
Oh.
That would make sense, right? Let's see if I'm right. I hope I'm right.
Let's hope so.
It's actually easier to show you than to explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me? On the floor? Yeah. Now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. Ah! See? You naturally go to pick up the bottle near its neck. With your fingers. Upside down! Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor on the side of the piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Wow! I can't believe it was that simple!
Recall our dinner that evening, Kristoff? I was drinking my usual juice then, too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed. But then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano. And you switched it, and you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon.
Oh, that is ingenious.
Order! 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 What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin? And he's still looking confident. Fascinating. So this is the legendary Eternus famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle? Where is your proof? Proof? Well, that's, as I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. It could explain the missing card. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation? Ah, yes! I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano. What? Did you say something?
No, I was listening to this.
Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Bush Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question. What are you gonna dust that? What, you gonna dust that for fingerprints too? I wouldn't be surprised if any of that, if any, were on that but his. Mr. probably wasn't one to make such a novice mistake. True. That bottle won't bear any trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humor me, Mr. Wright. That bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. I think I know where this is going. There it is! The 5 of Hearts! There's something inside that bottle.
Oh.
That explains it. What's this? That card. It can't be. Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment? Miss Olga Orley? Yes, our little swindling Devotchka. That night, I planted a card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost that last hand like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planet guard was gone. The trap failed. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that all of this planted card of you're disposed of? The one you mentioned in the piece of testimony? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was a 5 of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice that I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside of the bottle. And there it is.
Clever.
The 5 of Hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, I love this part.
How were they lifted in the back? I don't get.
So, Kristoff is a Sith?
Maybe. That is all. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Goes up.
This your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago? My past is like my logic. Straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was
Agreed there, Killua. Well, agreed.
One's rage is terrifying, that's true. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right? This is insane! What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone? At this point, Winston, probably not.
No. Why don't you retire, you 60-year-old fossil?
Right? I believe this time we've finally come to an end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin? He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now. I see. Still, one has to wonder why would he do that? Why he would do such a thing? He didn't have any connection to the victim, did he? Not that we know of. Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on this matter. About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler. An odd profession, to be sure. And that's all we know about him. We'll get to know more about that later. I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor. Good. Mr. Wright? Yes? 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed two things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? A dark time is coming for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own court system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. This is the start of a true friendship. Well, this seems like a good time to announce the verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Woohoo!
Hey, I find that one time right too.
Yeah, you kind of did. Court is adjourned. All right, time for the closing moment. Wow, that trial lasted long. Damn.
Yeah.
Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I did do a thing in there. It was you who cornered the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes. A sensitivity I lacked. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment of the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? What was that, Mr. Wright? You'll have to find the answer of that question yourself. The answer, right. Today was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Yep. It's her daughter. Your daughter, right? That's right. She's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Huh? I took this off his neck when the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, the locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified! You said that locket was yours! I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then, why? Why was the victim wearing the locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career.
What a mystery it is.
You're loving this, aren't you?
Oh, I told you I love mysteries.
You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work at Gavin Law offices after all. Still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin getting led away with handcuffs. Apollo. Yes? How about coming to work for me? Huh? You mean
at the Wright and Company law offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you... You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. What happened? That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was the one man, Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. We'll find out more about that later. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Wait, what? Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about the evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. The card was forged?
Oh.
But you mean this, don't you? I got it from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes. That card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left, leaving the wrong card in its place. Luckily for us. No wonder Kristoff reacted like that. The court cannot accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? I would think the only person who could have claimed it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then, you really? Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney! Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true! 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, doesn't it? Yeah! Did he punch him? Oh my god, he punched him!
Wow.
It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, "Take that" next time. I find it packs quite a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. But now mysteries are happening. But let's wait until the... And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law, and this is how my story begins. And that's the start of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney.
Oi, oi, oi. So many twists and turns.
And to think this is just the first case. Right?
This is a good build-up.
Wait, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. Hold on, let me reset. Okay. I hope I didn't make a mistake. Oh, okay, good. Sorry, I got a little scared there. Wait,
You're fine.
Were you laughing about what my mistake, or by Killer Morales is not gonna like that case trumped me? Okay.
Kill up. I will give you an applause for that one.
Okay then. So, before we end the stream, thoughts about the first case?
I'm gonna need paper for all the mystery clues for all this, ain't I?
Oh my god. I will admit, this was quite a start.
by the time this whole thing ends, I'm gonna look like Charlie Day, ain't I? Just have all these things all spread around. Have all these freaking pins everywhere. I just look like a conspiracy nut.
Right. But then you find out some strange mysteries. Phoenix Wright lost his badge. Something happened to him 7 years ago. And according to the rumors, he used forged evidence in court. But why?
Christoph Gavin also being part of this.
But why?
And then there's that. Then there's also the mystery of True. Well, we know who she is, Trucy.
Well,
I know, spoilers, but still.
Well, you did know her name just because you were looking at some Ace Attorney stuff. But we'll get to know more about her later. She's basically, but in this game she's basically Apollo's Maya.
Oh, gods above.
Well, unlike Maya, she doesn't go out for eating. She's just more with magic. But you'll find that out more soon in the next episode.
Ain't that funny?
It sure is.
Consider that, note to self. I definitely have something I can draw now.
Interesting. But anyway, that's all for us today. I hope you all enjoyed our stream.
Before that,
yes.
For anyone in the chat, if somehow someone wants to make a drawing for a thumbnail, I know exactly what we could do.
Oh, do tell.
And just to torture some people's minds and also my own imagination and humor. Who'd like to see the Keyblade Soul Lord in a Phoenix Wright suit?
Really? You want to do that?
Only if I can dress up as Maya and just have the humor go with this. Because let's face it.
Well, if by any chance we do a little pre-stream picture showcasing, we could do that. I'll just have to save the photos and then you have to show it. But anyway, that's all we have for today. So I hope you all enjoyed the stream, and I see that my good friend has enjoyed it too. So I guess this is a good start for Apollo Justice.
Agreed.
So, thanks for watching. This is the Keyblade Soul Lord.
This is the founder Breaking Animefreak.
And we'll see you in the next Ace Attorney stream. Ciao.
Bye-bye.